Imagine a survival crafter, but there's no hunger, no health, no energy, just you and an open world to explore. That's pretty much what you'll find in the newly released Lightyear Frontier. In this video, I'm going to be giving a full review of the game and ranking it from decaf to fully caffeinated. Without further ado, let's grind this game down and see how it brews. In Lightyear Frontier, you play as a farmer who crash lands with your mech on a strange alien planet. You're contacted by a lone satellite that was assigned to scope out habitable planets as an escape route for humans, but was kind of forgotten about and is now just floating around by herself. The mysterious planet is completely peaceful, but parts of the landscape have been overrun by noxious weeds and slime, causing those areas to become barren and not produce any resource anymore. Add in some mysterious ruin sites and you have a whole mysterious adventure on your hands. The Lightyear Frontier world is constructed in a way that gives you a familiar Earth-like environment, but with a unique spin on things that we commonly know. I absolutely love the quirky spin on the animals and the different fruits and vegetables, and think it's such a cute way to add in familiar elements to the game that give a bit of context so you're not completely out of your depth. The game progression is really driven by the story of this game, requiring you to clear the different areas in order to unlock the mysterious vaults. But of course, you need certain tools to be able to clear these areas, so it really is a give and take kind of relationship. The story is definitely an interesting mystery that really drives the game progression and keeps you wondering about who came before you and what happened. So, for story and world building, I'm rating Lightyear Frontier as juice. Lightyear Frontier utilizes a lot of familiar survival crafter mechanics. You have 5 different tools that you use, which are actually really well designed. So you have a hybrid saw and pickaxe type of tool, which lets you do both of those resources at once, which is really cool. You also have a vacuum that you can use to suck up plants and water. You have a hose to be able to spray things with water. And you also have 2 different types of seed shooters, one for bigger things like trees and one for your smaller seeds. Now, each of the tools can be upgraded and you do need certain tier tools to be able to harvest certain resources, clear certain areas. So you definitely need to keep an eye on your upgrades because that is one thing that will stop you from progressing. When it comes to crafting, there is a whole different range of things that you can craft. You do have different kind of tiers of resource. So you start with aluminium and then you work up to copper and then you work up to iron and so on, as we do find in a lot of these survival crafter games. And you have different resources that you can craft from the different materials. As you pick up or hold any of these materials, it unlocks all of the crafting recipes for you. So it definitely follows the typical survival crafter mechanic. You do have a whole range of different buildings that you can unlock. So you can unlock different machines that craft different things. You can unlock different houses that give you different perks. And you can unlock a whole range of different tools and upgrades for your tools. Alongside that, you do have decoration, which is a big part of determining how cozy your house is, and your coziness level determines which perks you get for going to sleep. So there is different added bonuses you have for your coziness level, which is really cool. You do have a huge open world that you can explore, and the good thing is there's nothing that really changes in terms of day and night cycle, so you really can just explore to your heart's content. It does get a little bit tricky to navigate at times in your mech, and you definitely need to work on your thruster negotiation skills to be able to get into some of the tighter or trickier places. But it does feel really great, and there is actually a whole lot of different things to explore. So each part of the map has different treasures that you can find and different ancient ruins that you can explore to be able to get different artifacts or different special items that you can sell to the merchant who comes and visits you once you build the merchant landing part. And it actually makes a lot of difference because you can buy a lot of resources from the merchant, so it gives you that extra out if you don't want to spend all of your time grinding for different resources. Now, one of the other things you can find along the way is the different animal nests. Now, these are quite important because if you feed the different nests, it adds an extra bonus to the resource regeneration. Each nest can be fed 3 times. If you feed it 1 time, you get slight regen. If you feed it twice, you get moderate regen. And if you feed it 3 times, you actually get maximum regen for the area that it's in. The game does feel a little bit grindy at times, particularly when you're playing co-op, because you do need to create 4 times the amount of resource to be able to upgrade or build, but that is pretty typical of these types of games. It does kind of feel a little bit too easy in a lot of ways too, which I guess comes back to the cozy feel of it. But in this game, you can't really die, your mech doesn't get broken, you don't have hunger, you don't have thirst, you don't have anything like that. So it definitely is a really great first game for someone wanting to get into the survival crafter genre, but it does kind of feel a little bit too easy. That being said, it definitely ticks the cozy vibe, and the gameplay loop is simple but actually really addictive. I didn't come across any game-breaking bugs. The only ones I did have were the night-day cycle being a little bit weird, and sometimes it would just show up as daylight during the night. But other than that, the game ran really smooth and I didn't have any issues. I played on both controller and mouse and keyboard and found both have great functionality. I did prefer keyboard and mouse simply because you can use the mouse wheel to scroll through all your different weapons, but otherwise both played really well. I think the balance with the story has been done really well in this game, driving you to get through some of the tedious grinding because you want to find out what happens next. But I think that overall the mechanics are really successful. So for game mechanics, I'm rating Lightyear Frontier as juice. Lightyear Frontier features a really stunning design. The graphics are colorful and fun and create a really vibrant world that feels nice to just be in. The design elements in the game, like the creatures and the plants, are done really well. You can kind of tell what they're inspired by, but they all still look unique and still look like something alien, which I think they've absolutely nailed. The soundscape of the game is really cozy and chill. The soundtrack is just a vibe and you can literally just listen to it all day. And the sound effects add that extra dimension to the game, making it feel realistic because you can hear that you're mining something or hear that you're chopping something down. They do also give clues to finding artifacts because you can hear them vibrating, so they are useful in that way too. The graphics and sound work really well together to create a cozy and fun atmosphere. So for graphic and sound design, I'm rating Lightyear Frontier as fully capped. Lightyear Frontier has some familiar elements, but still feels quite unique. You could definitely compare it to games like Slime Rancher in terms of the overall cozy vibe, but I actually think Lightyear Frontier is more chill than Slime Rancher, but just the feel of the game, it feels very similar to that style of game. It definitely feels less of a farm sim and more of a cozy crafter type of game. So I definitely would keep that in mind, that if you're looking to play this, it's not just a farming sim, there is a lot more to the game too. It doesn't necessarily add anything unique or different to other mechanics we've seen before, but it still feels like a great unique spin on this style of game. So for originality, I'm rating Lightyear Frontier as juiced. Lightyear Frontier has a captivating story that really drives the game progression. The mechanics work well to provide an addictive gameplay loop that's fun to play solo or co-op, and it's just a cozy crafter game that's really easy to spend a lot of time in. We've ground the beans, we've carefully weighed and pressed the grinds and brewed this game down. Now it's time for a taste test. Lightyear Frontier is juiced. Lightyear Frontier is available to purchase on Steam, or it's playable on Xbox Game Pass right now. You can find the link in the description below. I'd love to know what you thought about the game. Let me know in the comments below. And if you do want to see me play through a couple of hours of Lightyear Frontier, you can watch my live stream recap right here. Until next time, stay caffeinated.